I guess probably check a lot of boxes you're looking for.
Yeah, defensively, I thought we were phenomenal, and I don't use that word often, but forcing 30 turnovers, I think it's the most since 2004. I thought our defensive activity was phenomenal. I thought we played a great second half. I mean, their defense was a little bit unique where they decided not to guard people, and we made an adjustment at halftime and put two guys in the dunker spot. My dad's team at Ashland College actually ran an offense very similar. And for whatever reason, I often read his playbook, and we've never run that play before. We called it Ram after their nickname, and put two guys on the dunker spot, and let those two guys kind of rubber band. And I thought Jordan Walsh was phenomenal down there in the dunker spot. And we have not, since we've been together, even in skeleton 5-on-0, had Ricky Council play any pick and roll. And we felt putting the ball in his hands was going to be important for us to try to figure out a way to score. I think the first half we were a little bit surprised at how they defended us. And I thought we made it really, like I said, I thought the guys really adjusted well, scoring 42 points in the second half.
Aside from the defense, you guys were big on the offensive glass, second chance points, and then points in the paint once again. Talk about that as an offensive go-to, given the fact that some of that perimeter shooting is not always there.
Yeah, the 54 points in the paint. I mean, that's kind of who we are. And the thing that I think is really important, Kevin, tonight is they had the defense was as packed in as possibly could be. And what it does is it allows you to get a running start to the offensive glass. And that was one of the things we talked about at halftime is if the defense is packed in like that, I mean, we are flying to the O boards, and anybody that plays us like that, you're going to have to box somebody out that you're not really guarding. And we'll work on it, and we're going to exploit people that guard us like that. I thought it was a great game for us to see that. But good luck trying to block us out if you're going to be, 10 toes in the lane.
Yeah, Eric, going back to the first half defense, y'all had over an 8-minute stretch where you didn't give up a single point, forced a bunch of turnovers. Was that, I know it's Fordham, but is that maybe one of the best stretches of defensive basketball you've had since you've been here?
Yeah, I just told, Chuck on the radio, Scotty, that I thought that's as good as we've played defensively. I mean, that's an Atlantic 10 team. They're a team that I think they averaged close to 80 some points last year. They have a player that was not just a all league player in their current conference, but was also an all league player when he was at Youngstown State. And so our length is unique defensively. I still think we got to challenge some shots a little bit more than we did. I thought that, Charlton, number 24, took some shots in the lane that we got to get a little bit more closer. And, we got to front the post probably a little bit better as well.
And then what did you think specifically of the job y'all did on Quisenberry? And then you mentioned Charlton too, 9 turnovers. Just thoughts on the way you defended those guys?
Yeah, I thought, we got back to a little bit more of our shadow game in the backcourt. Justin Smith was, elite at it. And I think that we have two guys in TB and Jordan Walsh that can be great shadow players as well. And, that's the first time we've kind of gone to the shadow defense at full court or 3/4 court. And, Quisenberry and, Charlton, I mean, those guys have some experience, and to cause 9 turnovers against their primary ball handler, I thought was, it just doesn't happen unless you're doing something really well.
Touched on it a little bit earlier about Ricky handling the ball, running the point for you. Is that something you envisioned for him coming into the season? And could it be something he has to do moving forward, especially with Nick being out? Yeah, we didn't envision it. He didn't do it overseas. He didn't do it at Texas, but again, tonight we had to play, we couldn't keep doing what we were doing. So we made some adjustments, and he had 7 assists, I think. So Ricky did a great job of finding people as well as being an offensive weapon as well.
So 15-7 for a guy that really hasn't played any point guard position. I thought he did a great job.
Was Devo taking a lot of shots early, kind of part of the plan, or was that a product of him doing more, like you said, Monday, kind of trying to force some things a little bit too much?
Yeah, I think that, Devo, we need him to score. I've said that. I've said it to him. But obviously, we want to convert at a higher rate than what we're seeing. And he will. I mean, he's in my opinion one of the best mid-range shooters in college basketball, and he can kind of create his own shot. But certainly want to get his field goal percentage up, because he should be a high field goal percentage shooter, which he will be. But I thought he did a good job distributing the ball with 5 assists tonight. I mean, if you look at Ricky and Devo's assist totals, they were pretty good.
And then Jordan Walsh, still picked up some quick fouls, but did you like what you saw from him a little bit better today than Monday?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to take away from Jordan's aggressiveness, because he's, I before he got on campus, I kind of said he was a violent defender, because he blows up dribble handoffs. And so now we just need to, for him to focus a little bit on, and he will. I mean, we got so many guys that are going to keep growing as this season progresses, as long as we continue to teach and they continue to listen, and they're willing learners. And I hope that we got better tonight than we were last game. And then, with South Dakota State coming in here, we better play better against them than we did tonight against an incredible offensive team with a whole roster full of shooters on Wednesday.
Hey, Coach, there was a lot of guys that brought the ball up the court tonight. With so many players that are interchangeable, they can play multiple positions, which makes them very hard to guard. Was that on purpose, or is that just the way that it kind of happened this year with so many athletic players?
Well, obviously Anthony's, a primary ball handler for us, and obviously Devo's played a lot of point guard. So we start basically, 2 point guards that are primary ball handlers. Then we've talked about putting the ball in Ricky Council's hands tonight based on matchups and how they were playing us. And Walsh can handle the ball. So I think that, you always want players that can pass, dribble, and shoot. And we have some guys that have really good versatility. Even, Brazil can bring the ball up if somebody tries to press us. So I think we do have multiple guys that, that can handle the ball and try to semi-break token pressure if need be as well.
You mentioned Trevin's defense a little bit earlier, but did you feel like he made some progress at kind of overall affecting the game outside of his scoring?
I did. He had 4 offensive rebounds. I thought he played well. I thought he challenged shots. I thought he got the loose balls a little bit better tonight. And, coming off the bench, he's accepted that. And I mean, he's playing probably more minutes coming off the bench than he would if he starts. So I hope he feels comfortable in that role, that I can go to him really quickly in a game. And, we haven't mentioned Jalen Graham. I thought Jalen did a phenomenal job scoring the basketball. He's really worked hard this week, much harder than he has in prior weeks. And I thought it was important to get him some minutes tonight. Thought he did a good job on the offensive glass and scoring with his back to the basket and spin moves.
Mekhi Mitchell got there in the game, played some valuable minutes for you, had a couple steals. What have you thought about him in the first 2 games? Is this kind of what you've expected from him?
You're talking about Kai?
Yes, sir.
I mean, look at his steals. I'm sure he leads our team in steals at the center spot. He's got incredible quickness with his feet. He's a great runner of the floor. He's got elite defensive lateral quickness for a guy his size. He's earned the starting spot. He's earned the minutes that he's getting right now. It was not easy. I hardly played him overseas because he had a large learning curve about how our culture works. And he's done, you got to really, really compliment a young man who has changed habits and bought in with 2 feet. Been very, very impressed with what he's done since we got back from Europe. Waka flocka.